Welcome to my passion project, the Wine Find Talks. This is where I share one wine that I love, why I love it, and then we taste it. So, let's talk. The wine I'm sharing with you today is a 2019 Pontificis Grenache Syrah Mourve IGT from the Languedoc-Roussillon region in the south of France. Well, the wines from the Languedoc-Roussillon are not as historically prized as those from, say, the Rhone or Bordeaux or Burgundy. Times are changing. That region can produce some incredibly good wine for the money, and this is one of them. This is an exciting find with a hidden message in the name. You see, the name Pontificis is a nod to Châteauneuf-du-Pape, one of the most famous regions of the Rhone. Pontificus means high priest of ancient Rome. Châteauneuf-du-Pape means the Pope's new castle, because the Pope fled Rome in the 14th century and built a home just outside of Avignon in the southern Rhone region. The wine region of Châteauneuf-du-Pape surrounding the Pope's historic castle has been making juicy, rich Grenache Syrah Mourvèdre blends for centuries. And the wines today fetch a pretty penny because, frankly, some of them are delicious. This wine is a nod to that wine style and history. That's the message hidden in the name Pontificis Grenache Syrah Mourvèdre. The secret message matters because Châteauneuf-du-Pape wines start at about $20 in the US and about $40 in Canada, but Pontificis cost less than $10 in the US and about $18 in Canada, and I think it's excellent value. So let's taste. In the glass, beautiful color, there's real richness in the glass, which is one of those things that we associate with wines from the Southern Rhone. Just lovely, almost opaque in the middle, beautiful, lovely, and it's, sort of this purple ruby color, which you'd expect from a wine that's 2019. Made from those varieties. So a swirl and a sniff. I love the scent of this. The perfume, it draws you in, and it's got so much going on, lots of illusions. I mean, you could count them all. I will. You've got dark chocolate, black currant, black berries, poached plum, a little bit of nut or Christmas cake, plum pudding, that sort of thing. Some dried fruit, some nuts. Maybe even a whisper of white pepper somewhere. And some minerality, sort of slate. So lots going on. You can go on. And complexity, of course, is a hallmark of quality, and it's absolutely there. What I like also is this is a very clean nose. Sometimes with Châteauneuf-du-Pape, there can be a little bit of, they call it sweaty saddle, which can be off-putting to some people. This does not have that, which I like too. It's sort of aligned with some of the very best wines of Châteauneuf-du-Pape because of that purity. I really like that. So on the palate, sweeps in, smooth yet plush. There's depth here, but beautiful balance. A little bit silky, but also almost velvetiness too, that emerges especially on the finish. Now this particular wine is 50% Grenache, which lends juiciness, 20% Syrah, 30% Syrah, which gives you the meatiness. I always associate it with red meat, and 20% Mourvèdre. Mourvèdre gives you the really dark color and the depth, the blackberry notes, that sort of thing. And the wine here is all the fruit is hand harvested, so it's a mark of quality. The Grenache and Syrah they spent about 6 months in oak, which lends further complexity. So what we're talking about here is just how much meticulousness went in to the making of this wine. And I think it shows. And on the palate, let's see if everything we found on the nose cascades on the palate, and how long the wine is. Sweeps in arcs, and as it tapers to the finish, it starts to show layers, sheer layers of the nuances we found on the nose. and the finish is long. It's still there. It's lovely. Now this is a wine that's great this time of year too, because it's not too rich, not too heavy. I think the alcohol level is, yes, 13.5, so medium body. It's got the lift from the juiciness from the Grenache that keeps it lifted and juicy, so refreshing. Palate scrape clean at the finish, great at the table. It's a kind of wine I would love to serve with grilled meats or roasted meats in the winter. I'd also love it with grilled portobello mushrooms, but you could also pour it with fondue when, you know, the cold comes around. And you know, if you do find this wine, I would argue to buy a case, because it's a perfect wine with a story for Christmas, which is actually not that far away. And that is what I wanted to talk about.